Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Leadoff on SorareMLB. I'm Alex Hooper, recapping last night's action in Major League Baseball and letting you know how it impacts your Sorare gallery. We are going to do things a little bit different today. We're going to look at one specific topic, less highlights and all that, because I've been getting a question and I want to answer it, and it seems like a great time to answer it. So before I get into it, of course, Patreon.com/SorareFP, $5 for the projections, $10 for everything else, including the Discord and that upcoming app. I know I keep teasing it. I know y'all probably feel like it's not coming, but it's right around the corner. It's great. I'm so happy with it. I'm so happy with it. And shout out again to Captain No Sweat, our guy, for putting that together. You guys are going to love it. So I keep saying it because I'm so excited about it. We're not rushing it out to market, and we have some more things to iron out and some red tape, but it's coming, and it's good. It's well worth it. I swear, I mean it. Also, I want to remind you about the giveaway, the Kyle Freeland giveaway. Drop a comment with some questions, comments, players you want me to review, anything like that, and you will get another entry to the Kyle Freeland giveaway that will be tomorrow, Friday, here on the channel. I still don't know if we're doing a live show or if we're doing another one of these, but okay, that's the housekeeping. Let's get into the action. I know I said less highlights, so I just wanted to recap a couple of players that caught my eye on Wednesday. The Guardians and A's game, yes, those two elite offenses. Esteury Ruiz still stealing bases. He's getting on base. I think he's a fine addition. I don't know about his price, but Ryan Noda is showing that he should be here to stay. I think a lot of what he's doing is sustainable, and I like him a lot. And then Josh Naylor continues to be a buy for me. He's still hitting the ball hard. His batted ball numbers are good, and his price really has not jumped at all. And then Nico Horner, $12 for his limited, $76 for his rare. I do love the limited price there on Nico Horner, but he had another nice game leading off for the Cubs. I think he's their real star. One guy that really caught my eye and is going to be the basis for this episode is a man named McGough. I think his name is Scott McGough. Relief pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He got a 2-inning save in relief of Zach Gallen yesterday, and this is a guy who puts up tremendous scores. He's got a big spot in that bullpen for a good Arizona team. So he's looking at $4 for his limited, $5 for his rare. I would jump on that as soon as you see it. This is a guy who, he doesn't project terribly well, but if you look at his scores, like, they are sustained. So let's talk about the buying process really quick. I've illuminated the prices for the top 40 relievers over here in the P column, and then the points are obviously in the middle here. It kind of goes without saying the guys with the most saves and holds are going to be at the top, and then their strikeouts are probably going to shift the rest of those points upward. If you see, there's guys like Scott Barlow and Alex Lang right here who are closers for pretty bad teams, but they still accumulate a ton of points, and they're just a fraction of the price of the guys like Clase and Bautista up here at the top. My favorite value is Doval and Bednar, but with how close Doval is to Clase, I would just go for the Clase at the limited level. If you see over here in the rare, Barlow stands out, but Doval you can get for less than half the price of Clase. So I'm definitely looking for bargains here, because as you saw with McGough, who's not even on this list because he's not the dude who projects to get the lion's share of the saves, and a relative unknown, so he's not going to project very well. But now that he's in this role, this is a guy that you want to go ahead and look at. So that's the main thing that you do want to look at with relief pitchers, is roles change. And a guy like McGough can step into a role and be electric, and you can get him for very, very cheap, and you can sell very, very high later, potentially. If he becomes, the closer for Arizona, which, looking at it, oh, there he is. He's actually right here on this list. So, yeah, he actually comes in here at 68th, and if you look at the price, still among these low guys, and this is the best team among these really cheap closers. So, yeah, McGough looks even more like a buy for me here. And then you look over here at the rare column, and he and Kendall Graveman are the same price, but Kendall Graveman's not even the closer on a bad team. McGough is the closer on a good team, and that's the difference. So those are the first things you're looking for. 1, the amount of times they appear. 2, when they appear, save and hold situations. And 3, who they play for, and how often that team is going to get into those save and hold situations. I played a lot of DFS soccer, and the relief pitcher position in SorareMLB equates a ton to the goalkeeper position in DFS soccer, where it can make or break your week, and it's the most unpredictable thing, and you shouldn't spend a lot of time thinking about it. That's why I prefer guys like McGough and Lang and Barlow, where I'm just going to throw a little money at it and hope the variance carries me, and then spend my money on the big hitters, where they can make the big difference between 3 points and 103 points, and that really ships a week for you. I think a lot of guys like Barlow and Lang on a given week could go out there and dominate, but it's very important to know when to use a relief pitcher and when not to, and that's what we're going to cover next. All right, so now we're looking at the closer depth chart on Fangraphs. This will tell you not only where a reliever lies on the depth chart for a team in their bullpen, kind of what it says it's going to do. It also tells you when they last pitched. And also there's a legend here for unavailable, on the hot seat, high usage alert, and reliever on the rise. Reliever on the rise is going to be someone that you might want to buy because they're moving into a better role. On the hot seat is the opposite, someone who might lose their position because they have not performing. High usage alert is basically telling you, I wouldn't start this guy in a game week because there's a good chance he's going to get a rest. It's the best indicator we have that a relief pitcher is not going to pitch. We unfortunately don't have a ton of indicators that a relief pitcher will pitch, except for their role. The guys like the setup men are generally going to be pitchers who are needed late in games and will be the first person out of the bullpen. The closer is going to be someone who comes in and can get you those max points. So as I move down this list here, we're going to wait until we see someone signaled. So Jordan Romano doesn't have a high usage alert here yet, but he has thrown 36 pitches in the last 2 games. If today was Friday, I probably wouldn't play Jordan Romano, and I would think about maybe not playing Eric Swanson either. Even though he's pitched just 20 pitches in 2 days, if he gets up today, if he warms up today in the bullpen, that'll be 3 straight days he's activated, and if that happens, I probably won't pitch him on Friday for that weekend game week because I can expect him to get at least 1, maybe 2 days of rest, and I just don't want to risk it. So here you go with the Guardians. You have a high usage alert on Clase, Stefan, and Sam Hentges. And Sam Hentges is also a reliever on the rise, so maybe someone worth looking at, especially as a lefty where they have 2 setup men that are righties. James Karinchak is down in the minors, and Hentges might move into that setup role. If his price is right, I think Sam Hentges actually makes a lot of sense. This is my team, so I kind of know who he is, and I remember him, going 3+ innings against the Rays in the postseason last year and dominating. So he's a guy I do really like. He was injured early in the year, so his price might be kind of low. But anyway, what you can derive from this is that tonight, Clase and Stefan and Hentges probably won't pitch. So who would step into that role? It looks like Eli Morgan would probably be the closer. Aniel De Los Santos and maybe Tim Herron could step into the setup man role. That said, Stefan could pitch a 3rd time with only 18 pitches. Hentges with 28 pitches and, like I said, coming back from injury probably won't go tonight. So again, we're pretending like it's Friday and I'm building my lineups. If I had Clase or maybe Alex Lang, who has not pitched in a couple of days, I would go with Lang here. Yohan Duran, same thing. Generally, you just move down to the setup men. Those are going to be the guys who serve as the closers when the closer is tired. Ryan Presley with 2 straight saves. Doesn't say high usage alert, but you can kind of derive from 2 straight days that he most likely won't pitch on Thursday. Seattle with a very fresh bullpen. This is a team where I would be okay with going with Sewald or Munoz in my relief pitcher role because they're going to need to pitch. what you see with relievers a lot of times too, if they go a long time without pitching, then their manager will put them in, even in a low leverage situation, just to get them innings. So of course we got to go down to Arizona and see what our guy Scott McGough is looking like. Reliever on the rise, we are not surprised there, and high usage alert with 22 pitches last night. The last little bit on selecting a relief pitcher for a game week is that, and I've talked about this at length, if it's a 3-game game week, then do exactly what I just said, and if it's Friday and your guy has a high usage alert or he's pitched twice in a row, just know that there's a good chance that one of your alternatives who are rested will be better. On a 4-game game week, if your guy hasn't pitched and he's not hurt and he's one of the closer or setup men, use him. In a 4-game game week, it is so easy to know who... I shouldn't say it's so easy to know. It's much easier to know if your relief pitcher will pitch. Over a 4-game game week, you can almost guarantee that your setup man or high leverage reliever is going to come into a game at least once, probably twice, and sometimes 3 times. So those are the perfect times to use relief pitchers, and if you have 2 of them, you can use a reliever in your flex spot and hope they pitch 3 times, and most likely they're going to be better than any hitter you run out there. They're not going to have the same upside like a 100 from JT Realmuto, which I've used as an example, but if you can lock down 50 points from 3 relief appearances, then you're generally okay with sacrificing that extra, like 1% chance of upside of 50 more points. So those are my thoughts on relief pitchers. That's going to do it for me. If you have any follow-up questions on this experiment, drop them in the comments, and you will get an entry to the Kyle Freeland giveaway that we are doing tomorrow. Going to plug the Patreon one more time, patreon.com/SorareFP, $5 for the projections, $10 for everything else. I will see you on Friday. Look out for the live show just in case we do it that way, or I'll get a leadoff video up early in the day. Until then.